So you've got a great video content you've created and you're ready to post this on LinkedIn. But what do you do to make sure that, well, I don't know if I say viral, but that it does really well? People want to engage with the video content. There's a lot of things to look at, and I'm very excited to have Sarah with me here to unpack. We're going to look at examples of a bunch of different social posts with video on LinkedIn, and she's going to tear them apart, tear one of them anew, and see what works and what doesn't. Thank you for joining me today, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Um,
Alex.
First off, I want to ask, just to begin, there's a couple things you could look at when you're looking at a post. Particularly, we're going to look at videos today because that's my area, and you've seen a lot of video content too. When it comes to not the video itself, we won't look at the content. We're going to assume the video is good, that what's being stated. It's more of all the stuff around it. I usually see the elements that help ensure people want to watch it. It could be the closed captioning, the body copy of the post itself, maybe the aspect ratio or the format of, is it widescreen or square or portrait, and then maybe how or if the video uses text inside of it as like a headline or something to grab your attention. Again, not talking about the content of the video itself. Do you agree with those elements as far as what can pull you in further, grab your attention? Is there anything I may have missed in that list?
Yeah, I mean, the captions for sure. I mean, maybe not so much, for a YouTube video that is long, and I mean, you can always in YouTube put it on, and you see them if maybe you don't want to listen. So I think it must be there. On LinkedIn and maybe Instagram, it's even more important because people scroll. Usually they are fast, they don't have, headphones on. So there it's a different story. And I feel also a few, yeah, as you said, a few things, elements to highlight important topics visually, so let's say when you say something, let's say you say something that can be shown with an emoji, I think that's nice. But I feel a lot of people overdo it, because sometimes when you see a video and you have the feeling that every time something's popping in, then you have the opposite effect, then it's too much, I feel it's better like really with moderation, and it's a bit like using bold text on things, if you bold the entire copy, then nothing stands out anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, I think closed captioning and then those visual elements, obviously around video, we are visual people, so whatever can pull you in. But if it's too much, then you get overwhelmed. Well, let me go ahead and pull up our first example. We can look at it together. All right, and again, I didn't pick necessarily ones that are good and follow all the principles. I want you to let's talk about what's working and what's not working. So this is payments. They got 91,000 followers, but immediately when you see this. Sarah, what's your feedback on this video post? Again, not about the content of the video. It's more of everything around it. What's working, what's not.
I mean, first of all, I think the text, especially this white one, I mean, why is there like a white box on the left just floating around there? I don't get it, and I'm pretty sure, especially on mobile, it will be impossible to read. Also, I mean, the whole color scheme is very monochromatic, so it doesn't stand out. My guess is they probably repurposed the webinar or something,
Yes.
So yeah, so
Yes.
the goal of this is to get people to watch the whole webinar, probably.
Hmm.
I mean, let's say people will not stop to watch a video to then watch a webinar, they don't see visually what's the topic or what's the added value. So I would rather maybe create a visual with some key information about what's discussed in the webinar, and then link, say if you want to see the whole webinar, click here. But this definitely doesn't stop the scroll.
All right, cool. Well, let's go on to the next one. We have lots of different examples here, so let's look at this one. This is looks like from a kind of a podcast type of from Palantir, 303,000, but it's like a snippet, a section from it. Interesting enough, there is no closed captioning on it, so I think we're already missing something there. I'm also looking at how what kind of copy in the body description here. Both of them are pretty short. If I go back and forth, they actually had a link, I guess, to watch the full episode or look at the other piece. Same, yep, watch the full episode. Um,
Yeah, I
thoughts on that?
mean, yeah, as you said, I mean, this is really completely empty. So people don't understand that the first thing that people will notice and will make the difference if people stop reading, consuming or not is really the visual, right? On platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. So this is even less than the other one because for me this is just like I don't get the context. I cannot categorize this. There are two guys, like just talking. And, maybe it might work, let's say, if I know those people. If I would be maybe following somebody on LinkedIn and then I see they are talking to each other, maybe if I'm interested in, for whatever reason, in the person, I would stop. But definitely not for a company advertising.
So this one, one interesting difference between these two videos is they did include a title here, and I posted on a company page. I think that is do have that as an option, not on a personal page, as they didn't choose that. What are your thoughts when it comes to then the headlines or titles, the broken incentive structure of how our government spy defense? So what are your thoughts on that, being able to grab or not grab someone?
I think nobody stops to read that, like if the visual doesn't capture attention in the first place. Like nobody would, and I mean especially on mobile, it's super super small, so nobody would, to be honest.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's look at another one here together. We're going to do, it's a fun one. Break it up here. Have you seen
Ah,
his before?
I know him. Yeah, I know. Okay, but he's super good at making video.
I had to put some better ones in here too. So what's working, what's not working about his post here?
I mean, first of all, the I mean, and this is also a video where it's pretty static in a sense, because he's done very comical, like things where also the video itself was very funny in a way. But I mean, first of all, and you know it very well because I give you the feedback a lot of time, is framing with a title that is no more than 2 lines, and also the captions, because why am I stopping on this? I'm stopping because of the color, because it really stands out of my feed, and I'm stopping because of the text that, already I know what they're talking about. So make boring content more engaging. I immediately know, okay, it's about content marketing, it's relevant to me, let me check it out. I already have a preview of what he's talking about, so I will then consume it. And also, it's kind of, yeah, it's a talking head video, but it's also, a bit different from the usual low quality stuff because he has also put the angle in a kind of creative way that you feel part of the scene. So if you make a comparison from before, he's really asking for the stop of the scroll, even if it's potentially the same scene, but those guys wasted really so much real estate. And also, important point that I forgot to mention, why would you use like not vertical, panoramic?
60
I mean,
by widescreen, yeah.
exactly when you can really take a lot more space.
So talking about format there, I think, yeah, LinkedIn does support all three of the major formats, which is the 16 by 9 widescreen, the square 1 by 1, or the portrait, which is 9 by 16. And I have examples of each one. I feel like the ones that generally perform really well are the square ones like this, the 1 by 1. Would you agree with that statement?
I mean, I cannot say every time. I mean, there are obviously also yeah, 16 what do you say, 69, what's the format?
16 by 9, yeah, that
69, yeah, yeah.
widescreen.
That perform. Ultimately, if it's a good video, it will perform, but it's just like, why would it's a bit like if I can post like a picture why would I make it a square one if I can take up a lot more space, and post like, so it's just like, don't
Yep.
use more if you can,
Yeah. So another piece to all of these, of course, is the copy itself. Now, the first two that we looked at, they were like a sentence or two, and they're really just a quote or, hey, this is what they actually, they're both just quotes, and then who said it, and then a link to see the full episode. In this case, he repeats the content that he states in the video. What are your thoughts on only saying a quote or a small bit versus recapping all of the content in the post?
Very unpopular opinion, but I don't think that matters much, to be honest, because people will look at the video, and if there is an incentive to read, then they will do it after they're like, okay, I stopped the scroll, I want to know what this is about, let me look maybe at the caption, but ultimately your whole strategy is that they read the video. And I mean, even if, let's say, they don't have their headphones on, then maybe they will look at the caption. So in my opinion, I would rather not write much, and maybe just, really make it like a teaser, like read more. But if you want to really repurpose the script of the video that you have, I mean, nothing wrong with that. It's just not a big difference, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I know there's a lot of different opinions on there, but it's like your point of they may not even watch the content if you have it on there. Maybe the best scenario is where if you're going to write something that's complimentary, that teases it or provides a little bit of extra value, but isn't repeating the same content of the video itself, but rather they work in together.
To be honest, I really don't think that somebody who spends time watching a video also wants to read, I mean, it's already a commitment to dedicate time to a video, and usually it links to somewhere anyway. So I really would not overdo it. Obviously, if we're talking about like a text post, then I'm like, yes, like the whole point is the copy. The copy will make or break if people keep reading, But I'm like, if you're gonna waste or invest time on writing, then better make it a text post then,
Interesting take. Interesting take. I love it. Okay. Well, let's look at another example here. Number 7 here. Just scroll down to 7. You love Chili Peppers, so I know you're gonna appreciate always what they do. All right. So this one is 9 by 16, so it's a portrait. Oh, that's fun. Couldn't load. There we go. So he has they have a very designed closed captioning on this one with, I think, emojis and stuff too later on this. And their whole style, Chili Pepper, of course, is on fire and hot, hot takes. So this is, I think, a tip video, an expert tip that talking about when you get ghosted. What are your first initial thoughts after seeing this video?
I mean, I feel, okay, let's look at the elements. So it's a brand I like and I know, so I'm more prone to stop, obviously. And the video is also nice, and this fire thing is obviously cool. I don't know this guy, so for me, the fact that they put his name is completely unnecessary. I mean, that's why I would stop looking. But to be honest, if it would be a brand I don't know, I would not stop because I don't know what this is about. Same thing as I told you before. And I also feel about this captioning, two things. It's too fast. It's really too fast. And also, it used to be amazing and cool, but now everybody does it, Actually, somebody said the same thing, that that this was actually from Alex Hermosi. He was the first one to have this, and now all creators have it. And I was like, I didn't know it was from him, but somebody said it out. So it's not so original, if you know this. So I would say that here what we can take away is that if you have a brand that that people already know, they will look if obviously the quality is good, and in this case it's good. But if not, not. That's why you always need first to have a strong brand to anything you do after, because then you can kind of ride on it, you know?
So what would you do differently if let's say they're still trying to target people that don't know their brand? This is like a different brand. Would you say one is like we should be having a title of like why should you watch this video?
Yeah,
Something near the top.
yeah,
Probably
yeah.
get rid of the person's name, not need to because it doesn't matter.
I mean, I don't
Um,
know if that's a big name in the US. Maybe it's relevant, you know. Maybe for you guys it resonates. I don't know. Maybe in that particular space, I don't know. But yeah, the title, as usually. I need context, you know. I need before
mhm.
I invest more time, I need to know what is this about.
Okay. So let's look at the body description here. This one's a lot shorter. He didn't necessarily recap everything. Um, we said before, we'll say it again, no agenda, no attenda, but Vin Matano takes it a step further. How do you feel about both the length and their approach to this? It's kind of,
Well, I think the copy is pretty nice, and I mean, it really they have. I mean, we said it. They have a pretty nice brand in the sense of not only the logo, because that's not the brand, but all the vibe. I mean, they are very consistent. They're very engaging. They're very fun. So it's a very nice. I think the copy is great, and for me, that's also how I do it on my personal posts. You know, I try to be a bit playful. I try to anticipate something in the post so that I'm not like I don't give you like any information, just watch this video, you know. I try to give enough informations, but still leave the majority in the video to watch. But again, I really don't think that most people read the copy, you know. I feel they read the copy if they are like, okay, now I understood what this is about. Um, and we're talking about companies because for people it's slightly different, because for people you watch the video because you like the person's creator's content, you know.
mhm.
And and so like I for companies I categorize what it is about because it's an ad, so they want to pitch me something, that's already what I'm thinking. And then I'm like, okay, seems legit, let me check the few lines. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, it's nice, let's watch it, you know. Obviously all of this lasts 1 millisecond in your brain, but so, and sometimes you maybe don't even read the full copy, you know. Maybe if you read the first lines, like, ah, okay, it's really what I was thinking about that it was. Okay, let me watch the video. Because ultimately, let's say I would rather invest a few seconds watching a video than reading a copy, right? Especially if it's a very short form video.
The shorter it is, the less likely you need a really a lot of content because like let me just watch the video. Now,
You
my
got
only
this.
counter argument would be there are people that prefer to read over write, though I feel like it is uh, 2/3 of people of all people are visual learners. Like the majority of people are visual learners and they prefer video, but there's still a third at least that are or more that are those who read. So the argument could be made, well, why don't you put the written copy in there? So at least you make both happy. You make the people who like to watch it, they can watch it, and those who want to read can read. What do you say to an argument like that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost, but I think it's also social media. So it's, I would say, in social media, on social media, large chunks of copy never work, you know. Even the sheer amount, you know. And yes, formatting can help you, but I think the talent of great social media content is really being concise, you know. It's not the place and time to, you know, write a poem. And so yeah, I think give some meat. Don't just write a few one-liners because you want people to watch the video, but don't overdo it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is a good example of what you were wanting or suggesting instead of this for short videos to kind of give a taste. So as far as like a formula to learn from, this is a good one. Let's look at another example here. Let's look at let's go look at the next here. 7, 8, 9, 6. Cool. Oh, actually, we missed. I wanted to look at where is the. Ah, this is a testimonial. You can rip this one apart. Um,
Why?
Immediate thoughts, Sarah, seeing this one.
I don't know. I mean, it clearly looks very much like advertising. Obviously, I mean, it is
Hmm.
pure advertising, clearly, and you already categorize it as probably also a case study because I'm a marketer. So for me, it really seems like those companies' case studies on YouTube.
Hmm.
Why would I be interested? I mean, that's my take, and I find it also a bit cringe, but don't tell them.
No, you don't tell. Okay, we won't
Um,
tell him.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe if you retarget somebody and that's very relevant to them, maybe. But I don't think that's typical social media that's short form social media content. Maybe for YouTube, but even
Mm-hmm.
there, why people don't watch YouTube videos to watch case studies, you know? So case study is really, I think, bottom of the funnel content when somebody already is in purchase mode and then they want to see the specific thing, but not on long form video on LinkedIn.
Right. So this potentially could be useful in a retargeting campaign, but as far as organic social post, you'd say as far as the format and the piece, because this is like 4 minutes long, so it's quite long, and the style of it looks like you would post it on your website or YouTube. It's the full case study, um,
No,
and
it needs to be, even for retargeting, it needs to be chopped up differently.
shorter, more poignant.
Yeah.
I do notice the comments, they're all uh, company people.
Of course.
Um, so you have look at engagement, but it is company engagement from it. So that is an interesting thing to look at. All right. Well, I've got another one here that is a this is a
Ken,
testimonial,
I know Ken. Yeah.
and it is 30-60 seconds. Um, and it's she's giving her testimonial of the piece. So there's no title. I think he's missed an opportunity of a title on here, as well as hard embedding the closed captioning versus the built-in one. Um, but he starts off with how Julia is balancing her life as a co-founder and mother with a scalable offers and more, and then he basically talks to the audience here.
Mm.
What's your immediate thoughts on this? Seeing this?
I mean, I think it's exactly what you said. So I would still put, you know, kind of some labels, even like client testimonials, Julia stories, whatever, you know, so that we can categorize it. But
Mm-hmm.
on another note, he is a person, so
Mm-hmm.
we said this can change a bit. I think also like the best practices of video, it's a bit like saying you would even if you put titles, even if it's the best video, it's not like a guarantee that it performs. But I mean, it's a bit like, should you format like a blog well? Well, yes, because it's pretty clear that for somebody who reads it, it will be more skimmable, you know. Then for whatever reason, maybe it doesn't rank, maybe the algorithm changed, whatever, but do it, help the fate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's just so that you understand the context. Then, for a personal account, I believe since Ken posts a lot, you know, it means that he has already people following him, you know, they get all the more top level content about what he does, you know, who he is, you know. So somebody who sees this video already knows who Ken is, already knows what he does, and already knows, probably by seeing another person on his account, that it's a testimonial. And so if it's somebody that's already, toying around with the idea of becoming his client or whatever, then they're gonna be okay, you know what, let me see what people have to say about him. So that's the thought process without him. Could he do it a bit better? Yes, for sure, but I
So you're
think
saying
it.
that basically the stronger your community and audience that is following you already, the more leeway you have on your execution, and you don't have to have everything perfect because they already trust you, know you, want to see more of your content. But if you don't have a strong audience and a strong following yet, the more you should watch and pay attention to these tactics as far as having good title, captivating closed captioning, etc. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's very true, because I mean, I think you should do it anyway. And it's also not gonna make it or break it if you are a newcomer and maybe your video isn't perfect or you don't have the captions or whatever, if the video is good. But the rule of
Mm-hmm.
thumb is if nobody knows you, you have to really make a lot more effort to break through the noise, and you can do it in a lot of ways, by optimizing your video better, by just having a better quality scenery, whatever that is, and I feel it's true that people trust people a lot more than brands, because when you see a brand on your feed, you know that it's advertising, you know that
Yep.
it's about selling, and I mean that's already the first conception that you have. Then there are brands like SEMrush, like HubSpot, that have millions, thousands of followers, I don't know, and they do pure engagement plays, So once you know it and you follow them and you have proof that their content is amazing, then it's a bit like, oh, they are a bit like people, But let's say for the most part, brands have to overcome this thing. Oh, it's a brand, it's advertising.
This particular video, he posted on his personal page, but I'm pretty sure I saw this because he boosted it as a thought leadership ad. And so that's the benefit now, and this is growing a lot right now. Thought leadership ads, you can get the benefit of extending past your network, but after it feeling still though like a native post of someone in your network. And that it speaks right what you were saying of like people trust more when they are people, and now you can leverage that at a larger scale, I guess, with ads.
Yes, and I'm always very torn with those things because I feel marketers ruin new tactics so fast, and so I feel that ultimately if the video, because this looks doesn't look like a video that a company would post, it's not very polished, but let's say if I would see somebody posting this pizza thing before, even if it would come from a person, I wouldn't waste my time on it, And I see it also. I mean, very frankly, I do influencer engagements. I post for brands, and I try to always fit the whatever I'm creating about into my narrative, into also visually they don't look differently from my other tutorials posts, while I see also some other creators who do the same, who literally just take, the company video infographic and post it, and then I see that even if regularly on their other posts they get a lot more engagement, on this sort of posts they get like zero. Like let's say usually they get 200 likes, whatever. On this post they get like 40. Why? Why do you think that is? Because people aren't dumb, and
Mm-hmm.
and also I feel it doesn't benefit nor the creator nor the brand if you just do advertising, because then the company can do it themselves.
In our remaining time, I want to do a recap here of our whole discussion. We've looked at a lot of examples and all the different pieces that come with it. I want to get kind of have you recap again the how to do it the best way, and all the elements that come in. One, starting with the text headline, like just grabbing someone's attention. We talked about something at the top, ideally, something that's bright or captures that is visually engaging, and probably one or two lines of text at max. Is that right?
Yeah. To
Is there anything around?
categorize the video, to know, to give the person an idea what are we even talking about here. Yeah.
And then we looked at several different aspect ratios. We had the widescreen, 16 by 9. We had the square, 1 by 1 ratio. And then we had one of those, which was a portrait, 9 by 16. What's your feeling on each of those, and as far as what is best for LinkedIn?
I would try to use the square version. I think it occupies more space. It's just optimized also to add, the captions and the title without, taking away from the original video. Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing more and more of the 9 by 16 of the portrait format on LinkedIn these days, because you just record right from your phone and upload it. They work well, I feel like, on mobile because they do take up your full phone, but on desktop they're still kind of squished, and so you don't really see there's black bars on the side. So I feel like Square is still probably the best on that platform for both mobile and desktop. Yeah.
I think it's the best, but I also feel, I mean, I do obviously phone videos because I'm
Hmm.
lazy and, but I feel it feels obviously a bit more personal and unpolished, unedited with if you do it with the phone. And I think also with the phone you can still put all the labeling as in the Square video without taking away too much. So I think that can work as well.
Gotcha. Well, either Square or portrait could work. So coming back to the one of the main ones, which is closed captioning, you definitely feel strongly about that. There were several of those examples there where they relied on the built-in closed captioning of LinkedIn versus what I call a baked-in, like it's you put it into when you're editing it. I feel the baked-in ones are better, that you can customize the style and the look of it to make sure it captures people's attention. And sometimes it doesn't auto-enable, so you may not even realize there is closed captioning. Would you agree with that statement of it better to bake it in?
Yeah, it's better, definitely
Yeah.
better. And I also feel I also delete them, the automated generated, also because sometimes they make mistakes, you cannot edit them, or maybe it takes more time to go through and edit them. But I feel that in a hierarchy of importance, the title of the video is still the most important thing.
Mm.
For brands, we're talking about companies, we're not talking about people.
Right, right. Because if you want someone to stop and watch your brand content, you need to give them a reason. That's what the title. The whole point is to be able to stop them, pull them in. Coming back to that, is there any rubric or instruction you would give on if they're going to craft that title, that text to put in that title, that you would say, hey, you definitely it should be this or it should definitely not be this?
I mean, since we're talking about a few words, it's very hard to get creative with it, to be honest. So I think it's really be clear rather than clever. For example, what to do, how to ta. So really like I would really try to be like the practical side of what you're saying, because people want to learn something ultimately on LinkedIn, right? So yeah, kind of what and how questions I think work pretty well. And I'm not saying that like a title doesn't work for people, because ultimately also they need to stop the scroll. But obviously, again, as we said, also depending on how large your audience is. I mean, I have an audience of 30K now. I think I passed the bar of the sniff test in a way, hopefully. So I don't do it anymore. But if I would be starting from zero, I probably would do it, to tell people what the video is about.
And the body copy itself, your position, you're a fan of not repeating what's in the video, but rather giving a taste, giving a teaser, maybe something complimentary, but saying, hey, watch the video for the rest, is the best tactic for that.
Exactly. Kind of really also there categorizing what the video is about, saying in a way the biggest thing you're gonna discuss. So in this video, I have talked about this, and if you want, watch it. I mean, you don't even need to say watch it, because it's clear that if people want to read more, they will watch it. But let's say it must feel like I lay it there for you. The cake is there, you see it, you can assess. But if you want to buy it and eat it, you need to come in and get it. That's how it is.
I love it. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing this amazing wisdom on being able to post videos on LinkedIn. Sarah is a brilliant B2B marketer with close to coming to 10 years of experience, right, in the tech, consulting, and SaaS space. She's developed revenue-generating content strategies, built brand and product messaging from scratch, led teams, grown social accounts to thousands of followers. She's amazing. Where can people go find out more about you and keep following your posts?
On LinkedIn, obviously. And thanks a lot for the brilliant intro.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Sarah. It's great having you join us today.
Thanks, Alex. Bye.